You're in your 20s, you're earning money for the first time in your life, and nobody actually taught you what to do with it, so you figure it out as you go, and along the way, most people make the same 5 mistakes. Mistakes that seem small at the time, but end up costing thousands of pounds over the course of your life. Today we're going through all 5, and if you're making any of them right now, don't worry, every single one is fixable. Let's start with number 1. Number 1, not having an emergency fund. This is the foundation of everything, and most people in their 20s skip it entirely because saving feels boring when there are better things to spend money on. Here's why it matters. Life is unpredictable. Your boiler breaks, you lose your job, your car needs a repair you weren't expecting. Without an emergency fund, any one of those things sends you straight to a credit card or an overdraft, which charges you interest and sets you back even further. The rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses kept in cash in an easy access savings account. Not invested, not locked away, just sitting there, ready. If your essential monthly outgoings are £1,500, rent, bills, food, transport, you're aiming for somewhere between £4,500 and £9,000. That might sound like a lot, but you don't need to get there overnight. Start with a goal of £1,000, then build from there. Having even 1 month of expenses saved changes everything about how secure you feel day to day. Right now, you can find easy access savings accounts paying around 4 to 5% from providers like Chase, Marcus, and Monzo, so your emergency fund is at least earning something while it sits there. Get this in place before you do anything else with your money. It is the single most important financial move you can make in your 20s. Number 2, ignoring your pension. I know. The word pension makes most people in their 20s completely switch off. Retirement feels like it's 100 years away. There are so many more immediate things to think about. But here is the thing about pensions that nobody explains properly when you're young. Time is the most powerful force in investing, and you have more of it right now than you ever will again. Here's a real example. If you invest £200 a month from age 25 and stop at age 35, just 10 years of contributions, and then never invest another penny, you'll end up with more money at retirement than someone who starts at 35 and contributes £200 a month all the way to 65. 30 years of contributions versus 10. That is how powerful starting early is. Compound interest rewards time above everything else. And here's the part that makes ignoring your pension even more costly. Most UK employers will match your pension contributions up to a certain percentage. If you're only contributing the minimum and your employer would match more, you are leaving free money on the table every single month. Log into your workplace pension dashboard this week. Find out what your employer will match. Increase your contribution to at least that level. After tax relief, it will cost you less from your take-home pay than you expect. Your future self will not thank you for the extra £50 a month you spent on things you can't remember. They will thank you for the pension pot you built while you were young enough for it to actually matter. Number 3, living without a budget. Not knowing where your money goes is one of the most expensive things you can do. And most people in their 20s have no idea. Money comes in, money goes out. The account is lower than expected at the end of the month. And they couldn't tell you exactly why. The problem isn't that they're spending too much on any one thing. It's death by 1,000 cuts. A subscription here. A few too many takeaways there. A round of drinks that was more than expected. None of it feels significant in the moment. All of it adds up to hundreds of pounds a month that just disappears. You don't need a complicated budgeting system, you need 2 numbers. What comes in and what you save before you spend anything else. Pay yourself first. The day your salary lands, move a fixed amount straight into your savings or ISA before you touch anything else. Treat it like a bill you have to pay, then live on what's left. Even if that amount is £50 a month right now, the habit you build is worth far more than the £50 itself, because as your salary grows, the habit scales with it. If you want to go deeper, a simple budgeting app like Emma or Money Dashboard connects to your bank and shows you exactly where your money is going. Most people who use one for the first time are genuinely shocked. Number 4, relying on your overdraft as if it's your money. This one is more common than people admit. Your bank gives you a £1,000 overdraft. You start to think of that £1,000 as part of your balance. You dip into it regularly. You pay it back when you get paid. Then you dip into it again. It feels harmless. But here's what's actually happening. An arranged overdraft in the UK can charge you up to 39.9% interest annually. That is more than most credit cards. Every month you spend time in your overdraft, You are paying for the privilege of using money that isn't yours. And beyond the interest, there's a deeper problem. If you are regularly relying on your overdraft to get through the month, it means your expenses are higher than your income. And no amount of financial products will fix that without addressing the root cause. The goal is to get to a point where your overdraft is a genuine emergency backstop, something you never actually use, rather than a regular part of your monthly cash flow. If you're in your overdraft most months, the first step is figuring out which expenses you can cut to get back above zero. Then build that emergency fund so you never need it again. Number 5. Putting off investing because it feels complicated. This is the mistake that costs people the most money in the long run, and it's entirely driven by fear and confusion rather than logic. People in their 20s put off investing for all sorts of reasons. They think they need a lot of money to start. They're worried about picking the wrong thing. They don't understand the stock market. They're waiting until they know more. And while they wait, the years go by. And every year they wait is a year of compound growth they never get back. Here is what investing actually needs to look like for most people in their 20s. Open a stocks and shares ISA. Put your money into a globally diversified index fund, something like a Vanguard FTSE All-World Fund or a Life Strategy Fund. Set up a monthly direct debit, and then do not touch it. That is it. You don't need to watch the market. You don't need to know what interest rates are doing. You don't need to understand every company in the fund. An index fund gives you a tiny slice of thousands of companies across the world. When the global economy grows over the next 20 or 30 years, and historically it always has, your money grows with it. Most investment apps in the UK let you start with as little as £1. Freetrade, Trading 212, and Invest Engine are all straightforward to set up and don't charge a fortune in fees. The best time to start was 5 years ago. The second best time is today. So there they are, the 5 money mistakes most people make in their 20s. Not having an emergency fund, ignoring your pension, living without a budget, relying on your overdraft, and putting off investing because it feels complicated. If you're making 1 or 2 of these right now, you're completely normal. These are the things nobody teaches you, but now you know, and every single one of them is fixable. Start with whichever one applies most to you. Fix that first. Then come back for the next one. Links to the savings accounts, ISA platforms, and pension providers mentioned are in the description below. I'll always flag any affiliate links. Subscribe if this was useful. New video every week. See you in the next one.